Hey everyone, today we're going to be touring Piner Road Farm and we're going to be checking out their chickens and their egg selections, and we're going to be celebrating Easter by making deviled eggs. Deviled eggs.
This is all fermented feed. They love it.
Okay. So what does the feed consist of?
Just seeds.
Seeds?
Yeah, barley, sunflower, peas, wheat, oats.
And I noticed a lot of shells on the ground. Is that for the calcium
Yes.
of it? Okay.
And that's the crushed oyster flour.
Oh, okay.
You're about to see some chicken madness.
Is there a reason why you have like so many different kind of breeds?
Yeah, so I started to focus on the ones that were endangered.
Oh, okay.
Like when I started looking for chickens
Yeah.
myself, I was like, what kind of breeds do I want? I definitely didn't want any commercial breeds.
Okay.
You know, the ones that they just breed for eggs. So I started searching and I saw that some were endangered. So that's what I try to focus on.
Okay, that's
Helping
awesome.
the ones that, you know, they're threatened or at risk of extinction. They won't bite you. The breeding cells, like if I want to breed for a certain breed.
Okay.
So these guys, they have to stay here for 2 weeks, so I can guarantee like the type of breed that I want.
Okay.
So
Oh.
these are very rare. They're ayam samami. Everything in them is dark. It's like their tongue, their beak, it's black.
I think you see it a lot in like Asian cuisines,
Yes.
yeah.
Silver. These are silver penciled rock mosaics.
Wow.
This is a new breed. They're developed in Louisiana. So here we go. She did him. So she's a good one.
Oh wow, it's like kind of greenish brownish almost.
These are the olive eggers. Yeah. At the end of the day, just come and collect some eggs. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm done anyways.
So how many eggs do they produce a day generally?
Over 100.
Wow.
So what we do is we move back and forth so that the grass has time to grow. So this was like that. So we push the fence back.
And then they get fresh grass and
Yeah.
everything.
Eggs are cracked there, so they pip. That's called pip, and then that's when they develop their lungs. And then after that, they zip around the eggs and push out. But typically, they're all in one incubator.
Okay.
Yeah, they stay in one incubator from day 0 to day 20, 21.
We're back in the kitchen and we're going to be making deviled Easter eggs, and we're going to be using these beautiful eggs from Piner Road Farm. Aren't these eggs so pretty? They're basically like pre-dyed Easter eggs. I'm not really sure if you can see this on camera, but this one's blue and these are olive green, and this one's kind of cool just because they're brown and a little bit speckled. So the first thing we're going to do is boil these eggs on high heat starting from cold water. When it reaches a boil, lower the heat to low medium and let it sit for 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes is up, shock the eggs in cold water bath, which should make peeling the eggs a little bit easier. To peel the shell off, take one and lightly crack it on the table. So I have some cracks in here and it's a little hot still from the boiling water, so I'm just going to dip it back in here while I work and start to peel off the shell. This is the egg all peeled. It has a couple little marks on it while I was trying to take the shell off, but it should be okay because we're gonna cut it up and dye it. Next thing we're gonna do is cut into the egg and take the yolk out. And we wanna make a zigzag shape when we cut into it, so it'll end up looking something like this. So we're just gonna grab a knife and we're gonna cut into it, and we're gonna go all the way around until we reach the other end again. Now that it's all cut, carefully split it open and then do your best to take the yolk out. It should come out pretty cleanly like this. We just finished cutting up our eggs, so we have 12 of these and 6 yolk, and I just rinsed them off a little bit to get rid of any of the excess yolk. But as you can see, they kind of don't sit on a plate well, so I'm just gonna grab a knife and cut in a straight line so it's flat. It should look something like this. and it'll sit on the plate more easily. So we're just gonna do that to all of these. Now that I cut the bottom of all these, we're gonna dye them. I already pre-made this orange one, but I'm gonna make the blue and green one right now. To create the dye, get a cup big enough to fill the egg half. Then add a teaspoon of vinegar and then whatever color dye you wanna use. Liquid is probably better for this, but I only have gel on hand and we're going to be making blue and green. We have our dyes all made and we're going to be using the orange one to make flowers and the blue and green to make chicks. Put them in and soak until they reach your desired color. I'm personally going for pastel shades. While we wait for the eggs to get colored, let's make the yolk filling by mashing up the yolks. Once it's mashed, add in 4 tablespoons of mayo, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, and a sprinkle of salt, and then mix it all up. This is what it should look like once it's ready to go. Mine's a little bit clumpy, but if you want a smoother consistency, you can add more mayo. Now it's time to pipe. We'll do the chicks first because they take a little bit longer. I put the egg yolks in the super shooter, which has a regular circle tip, but you can also use a Ziploc bag to pipe if you don't have one. Now we're gonna pipe in just a dollop into each of these. As you can see, these aren't that smooth, but that's okay because we're gonna pat them down a little bit. Then put them in the freezer for 10 minutes or so they can harden. I just took these out of the freezer, and the reason we did that is that we need to pipe another layer on top without them mushing together. So let's do that right now. Don't worry if they're a little lumpy like mine are, the faces will make them look better. We actually did green and blue to kind of emulate the shells. We have some of the shell pieces from earlier and we're going to use these to make the beaks. I'm just going to break it apart and try to find a usable piece. So anything like triangular, kind of like that, I can just stick in. To make the eyes, we're going to be using some pepper, so I'm just going to grind some out and use some of the bigger pieces for the eyes. There you have it, the little deviled egg chicks, and now we're going to be making the flowers. To make the flower, use the rest of the egg yolk mixture and turn it orange using some red dye. Once done, put the mixture into the super shooter and pipe the eggs. And the flowers are done now.
So happy Easter everyone, and we're gonna celebrate today by of course eating these almost too delicious to eat treats that Jacqueline made. These little chicks that are in the colored eggs, and then I guess these are kind of like the poppies that have been growing in California lately, and we kind of half garnished, half just made it look fancy with these little scallion stems.
So yeah, we didn't do anything too special though with the recipe. It's just a simple deviled egg recipe. Or it's just a really good thing, I think, to do with your kids and a fun way to celebrate Easter or have a party.
And I think with the traditional deviled egg recipe, if you want, you can add paprika, but we thought it would just kind of take away from where we're trying to have a look. So Jacqueline had a lot while taste testing, so I think I'm just gonna eat it. I'm just gonna eat this. Kind of cool. There's a flower, and these ridges kind of add to it, so they can be both the shell and the flower.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think the paprika would probably help, but again, it would take away a little bit. It's a good mix of the mayo and the egg. Nice and creamy, but have a really rich flavor.
I'm glad you think it tastes good. Yeah, if you want to make this recipe, it'll be in the description box below. And if there's anything you want to see us make, comment down below. Just want to say a big thanks to Pasture Road Farm for giving us a tour and letting us see all their chickens. And if you want any pasture raised eggs, you can get them at Marina Meats in the Bay, or you can contact them on Facebook and set up some time to maybe go visit.
And we'll provide the link to their Facebook and their contact information in the description box below.
Thanks for watching. Bye.